Today we're talking about answers to the questions how to survive caregiving when caregiving involves so many different skills that we may not have, but that we may have to learn. So part of how to survive caregiving involves dealing with so many different personalities. Doctors, nurses, the healthcare system, people in your family, your parents, your siblings, so many people. And I was talking to a caregiver this week who said that someone told her to put on her strongest suit of armor. That is really great advice for how to survive caregiving because we as the caregiver almost have to deflect information coming at us by evaluating that information, considering if it's trustworthy, reliable, reasonable, looking at the pros and cons of situations, and most of all, not taking other people's responses to us or reactions to us personally. And that is a huge, huge issue in how to survive caregiving. We're going to talk about interactions between the caregiver and other people and what those behaviors look like, but also for us as the caregiver, are we exhibiting any of these behaviors that we find to be offensive? And then how do we manage through how to survive caregiving? So let's look at the relationship that maybe you have with a parent or a spouse, or maybe even your children, if you're caring for your children and caring for your elderly parents over here. So you're kind of stuck in that middle. So how many people have care receivers who say, well, it's not my fault, it's not my responsibility. They may blame other people or other situations for the situation that they find themselves in today. How many care receivers avoid taking responsibility for how they got to where they are today? How many care receivers bark at you or say something to you to kind of put you on the defensive to make you think, well, am I being reasonable? Am I thinking right? Am I acting right? How many people make you doubt yourself to that effect? In caregiving, there are so many issues all over the place that it can be very difficult to figure out why we are upset about what about what someone says to us. And so in those situations, we want to look at everything that's coming at us and how that makes us feel, but also how we are reacting back. Are we angry? Are we resentful? Do we give anybody the silent treatment? Do we pout if our feelings are hurt? Do we demand things? Are we a martyr saying, oh, no one will help me? Or do we take responsibility? There are so many personality traits that come into caregiving situations that sometimes we as the caregiver, because we're sensitive, may take things too sensitively, and that can make surviving caregiving even more difficult. So how do we manage all of these personalities and feelings and behaviors that are going on? It's important to be very, very open-minded and really to give people the benefit of the doubt, because people that we care for don't feel well, they may be in pain, may have a lot of chronic illnesses, they may have Alzheimer's or dementia. So their reactions, their words, the way that they act toward us may not be totally intentional. They may be a factor of how they're feeling that day or what happened that day. And rather than taking that personally, rather than being upset about that, it's better to ask questions and say, you said this is how I'm interpreting that. Is that really how you meant it? Because in caregiving, intentions are everything. We may have really good intentions, but something we say comes off wrong and someone thinks that we're not a nice person and they don't want to help us. That could be somebody in a doctor's office or someone else. So how to survive caregiving really is about interpreting others' feelings, interpreting our feelings, managing back and forth communication. And it's being very conscientious as that caregiver, not to take unnecessary risks, to be very thorough with everything that you do, to have a lot of self-control over your emotions and your reactions, and to realize that sometimes things do take a lot longer than we would prefer. The idea is also to be collaborative. So as a caregiver, you work with many people, doctors' offices, insurance companies, hospitals, other people in your family. The idea is not to automatically think that other people have bad intentions or trying to manipulate you or get you to do things. Now, you do have to watch your feelings and how you feel about something. If you feel, if you have a bad feeling about it or a good feeling about it, or if it's making you feel a certain way, to understand why you're feeling that and kind of hold those emotions inside until you can sit on them for a while and think about it before responding. Because as we know, sometimes it's the whole foot in the mouth syndrome. We say something that we really don't mean. We have a lot of backtracking to do. I'm Pamela D. Wilson. My website is PamelaDWilson.com. There is a lot of helpful information for caregivers and aging adults there. Please share this video, my website, my podcast, my online courses with other people who are looking for hope, help, and support. I also offer one-to-one Eldercare consultations by telephone or video call. Have a fabulous day today. I'll see you all again soon in another video.